A very good evening to all of you. In the last class, we have completed one another contract. Now, in this today class, we will understand the concept of will. Furthermore, we will also understand the concept of probate, letter of administration, succession certificate, how to draft this will. All this legality we will understand in this today's class. First of all, let me share a screen with all of you. Yes, just a second. So, in this today's class, we will understand the concept of will. Will. Now, let me tell you the concept of will in very simple language. For example, this is Pratik. Okay. And let's say, beta, if Pratik dies, no problem at all. Pratik dies. Now, there may be two situations in this case. One is Pratik had made a will. Yes, Pratik had made a will. The second case that may be arise is that Pratik के पास कोई भी will नहीं थी. No will at all. So, two cases will be there. One is if Pratik has written a will. Second is if Pratik has not written a will. Now, this will be known as, yes, anyone? Yes, you are very much allowed to give me the answer in the chat box.
Testamentary succession.
Testamentary succession. And this will be known as intestate succession. Intestate succession. Now, most important point is very important. So, for example, this is Mr. Pratik. Pratik has 1 crore rupees, let's say, as of now. And I am saying, hey, this is Piyush. Piyush, from now date onward, you are the owner of this 1 crore rupees. Whether this is a kind of will, yes or no, you are very much allowed to give me the answer. As of now, I am saying, Pratik, no, Piyush, you are the owner of this 1 crore rupees. Whether this is the case of will, as per your opinion, the answer is
No.
no. Why?
No.
The answer is simple. The answer is no. But the question is, sir, why? Let me tell you this. If I say, Piyush, from now onward, you will be the owner of this 1 crore rupees. This is just like a gift. But in the case of will, I will say, Pratik, you will become the owner of this 1 crore rupees after my death. So the thing is that in the case of will, the will be effective after the death of testator. After the death of testator. Testator means a person who is writing a will. Understood, sir? Very nice, Sudhanshu Ashna. So this will become effective after the death of Mr. Pratik. Sir, I have another question. This is beta, let's say, yes. This is Pratik. I am writing a will on 25 September 2021. Okay, sir. In this will, I am writing that all my existing, yes, all my existing property as well as future property will be given to, let's say, Mr. Piyush after my death. And let's say I dies on, let's say, 29/09/2021. And on 28/09/2021, I bought, and let's say I bought a refrigerator. Let's say for an example. So whether this refrigerator will also be transferred to Mr. Piyush. I have made a will on 25/9/2021, this date. But in this will, I have written that all my existing property as well as the future property will be transferred to Mr. Piyush. I dies on 29/9/2021, and just one day before I bought a refrigerator. Whether this refrigerator will also be transferred to Mr. Piyush, the answer is again yes. No
Yes.
problem, sir. Very nice. Understood. Now, sir, the next concept. For an example, sir, this is Pratik father of Mr. Pratik. The father has 10 crore rupees. Whether Mr. Pratik can make a will of Pratik father's property? That is important question.
No.
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 So how it is possible? You can
No.
transfer your
Only
property.
self-acquired property, I think.
Correct. Only self-acquired property I can transfer through will. Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Whatsoever the property I have acquired through my hard work, I can transfer this property to any other third person without interference of my relatives also. Understood. Now, sir, question comes. For example, this is will. Today, I am preparing a will and I am saying, sir, after my death, all the property will be transferred to, let's say, my son. Understood. So, sir, I have a question. Whether registration of will is mandatory, whether I have to get this registry, whether I have to
Optional.
get, the answer is yes, beta. Option.
Oh.
The registration,
Optional, yeah.
the registration of will is not mandatory, it is optional. It is up to you whether you want to register your will at the SGM office, yes or no. Sir, understood. But for an example, sir, let's say beta today on 25/09/2021, I have made a will. Okay, and I am not registering this will. I am not registering this will. I am creating this will in favor of my son. And I have a daughter also, let's say. I have not registered this will. Let's say, beta, after my death, this property will be transferred to my son. But here is a concept. For example, I have given a copy of will to my son. Okay, sir, this is a will and I am transferring all the property to you after my death. I have a question for you. If I dies, whether my property will be transferred to my son automatically, yes or no? Anyone? Yes, beta. Anyone? Ashna, Sudhanshu, Pritika, beta. Yes. What do you think?
Automatic. No, matlab there is a process. No, he will have to go to the court and all of that.
Succession certificate.
Succession certificate? No.
Probate.
Probate or letter of administration. Matlab if executor is mentioned in the will, then probate karna padega. Or if the executor is not mentioned, then letter of administration, I think.
Achha, you are saying, sir, if executor is mentioned, then probate. So what is probate then? Let's understand the concept of probate. For example, beta, if this is, let's say, Pratik, I am making a will on today, 25 September 2021. And I am saying, sir, after my death, my son will get all the property. No problem, sir. So for an example, beta, if I dies, let's say, on 29/09/2021, koi dikkat nahi, sir. Now, my son will not get the property automatically. First of all, beta, in the will, there is a chance that I may write the name of executor. There is a chance that I may write the name of executor. So what is this executor? Executor means a person who will initiate, or I can say who will execute this will. So for an example, sir, let's say, beta, I have named my father as the executor. And he will transfer my property to my son, let's say. So, sir, there may be a chance that the name of executor is present in the will, and there may be the chance that the name of executor is not present in the will. Okay. Now, if the name of executor is not present, okay. Let's say if the name of executor is present, what will happen in this case? Now, let me tell you this. We will go to the court and say, court, please authorize this will. Please authenticate this will. That's this will is legally executed. Kindly authorize and kindly authenticate this. I will request the court that, sir, kindly authenticate this will. Doesn't matter if your will is registered or not. Doesn't matter. I will go to the court and I will ask, sir, kindly authenticate this will. The process of authentication of the will is known as probate. So in simple word, beta, I will go to the court for probate. Understood, sir? The court will authenticate this will, that, sir, this will is properly made. The court will authenticate this, and after that, the court will give the instruction to the executor. Sir, you are now allowed to execute this will. That is the process how will go in this case. Understood, sir? Now, let me tell you another concept. Let's say in the case of will, I have not mentioned the name of executor. I have not mentioned this. So in this case, again, I will go to the court and I will say, sir, kindly give me the letter of administration. So what is this letter of administration? Administration means, beta, to control the affairs. So the legal heirs will ask, sir, first of all, please authenticate this will, and also please give me the letter of administration. I will execute this. I will execute this will. That is the case of when you do not mention the name of the executor in your will. In that case, we will obtain the letter of administration, and thereafter, beta, the person in whose name the letter of administration has granted, this person will execute the will in favor of the person whose name is mentioned in the will itself, beta. Understood, sir? Thereafter, beta, there may be some possible scenario wherein you do not make will. Yes, you do not make will. In that case, that is the concept of, beta, intestate succession. In the case of intestate succession, we will obtain succession certificate. That's the most important point. The legal heirs will obtain the succession certificate whenever a person dies without making a will, or I can say whenever a person dies intestate. So we will obtain succession certificate in that case. But for an example, if person has made the will, in that case, there may be two situations. One is if the name of the executor is present. Thereafter, when I dies, the executor will go to the court, and first of all, we will ask the court to authenticate this will. The process of authentication is known as probate. But for an example, if you do not mention the name of the executor, in that case, the person, or you can say any person, will ask the court a letter of administration. A person in whose name a letter of administration was granted, such person will execute the will in favor of the person whose name is mentioned in the will itself. Any doubt to anyone in this concept? Will, probate, letter of administration, succession certificate. Any doubt to anyone, beta? Let me see the name of the students. Chinmay, beta, any doubt to you? No? Yes,
No, sir.
others?
Sir,
Yes, yes.
sir, what is what is the need for registration? Like, what difference does it make if the will is registered or not?
See, it will make your will more authenticated. For an example, beta, practically litigation में क्या होता है? I can sign. See, I can sign, or I can transfer someone properties. I can make a will of some another person in my name. Yes or no? It may be a
Yes,
possible scenario that I can forge the signature of some person and make a will in my favor. In that case, if registration, see, there is a forged document. So this forged document will not be registered, because when you go for the registration, both the party will be presented. Both the party, the testator as well as the trustee, in whose person you are giving a will. Both the person will present at one go. If you forge the document, or you can say if you forge the signature, you will not, or I can say the testator will not present. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But yes, for example, if your will is, I can say if your will is valid, I am transferring all my properties to my son. So there are two parties, me as well as my son. If I want to get my will registered, I as well as my son will go to the SGM office. I will take the appointment. My will be registered. So this registration of will authenticate this will. Otherwise, आपको क्या लगेगा कि इसमें कोई ना कोई गड़बड़ है. Otherwise, for example, if your will is not registered, there may be a situation where you will think that there is a case of fraud. Yes or no, Chinmay?
Yes, sir.
That's the point. But if you get it registered, both the parties will be present. So judge will think, yes, this will is okay, no problem as such. Understood, beta? But yes, registration is not mandatory.
So, can states make laws to make registration compulsory? Is
Okay,
it so?
you are saying whether state government has the power. The answer is yes. Anyone? Whether the state government has the power? Yes or no? Prabhat is
Yes.
saying yes. Pritika is saying yes. And everyone is saying yes. So yes, state government has the power and they can amend all these things. Okay, beta. Chinmay, any doubt to
Yes.
you now? No?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any doubt to anyone? Ashna?
Yes, sir. I have one doubt. If at all a person dies intestate, so in that case we don't have to apply for letter of administration.
Okay. In that, for example, if person dies intestate, yes, a succession certificate, first of all, we have to obtain. This letter of administration, this one is not required. Not required.
Okay.
Yes. Any doubt to you now? Ajay, you recently
No,
appeared
no,
for
sir.
one interview, I guess.
Yes, sir.
आप वही थे क्या? क्योंकि मेरे पास 2 अर्चना थी. I thought कि मैं अपडेट किससे
No, I was only that one.
Okay, okay, very nice. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Any doubt to anyone now?
Sir,
Yes.
one more thing, sir. Sir, right now we discussed that if the person dies intestate, then a succession certificate is issued. So,
Interstate नहीं, intestate.
yes, sir, intestate. So, the division is like in here, like family law, we studied that if the person dies intestate, then the division is done as per
Class
whatever
1,
is
class
provided
2,
in the
agnates,
succession act.
cognates, right?
Yes, sir. So who gets the succession certificate? Like everyone or the person who applies for it?
No, beta. Let me tell you the practical scenario how this succession certificate looks like. Every person will get the succession certificate of his part. Yes, Chinmay, you got the point. I cannot obtain 100% property
Yes.
of my father, let's say. Okay. Well,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so every person will get the succession certificate, or you can say in the succession certificate, every person will apply simultaneously a single certificate too.
Okay.
Okay, so here is a concept of will, beta. Here is a concept of will. Now let me show you this most important concept. Sir, there is an act called Indian Succession Act 1925, I guess. In this Indian Succession Act, there is a regulation of testamentary succession as well as probate, letter of administration, etc., etc., etc. There is a concept. But let me tell you this figure of will. I, Pratik Gupta, son of dash dash dash, I am Hindu, let's say. Age, no, I am not 60, unfortunately. Residing at this, I am sound body. This is most important. When you're preparing a will, your mind should be very well. Or you can say a sound mind should be there. This to be my last will. ये हम हमेशा लिखते हैं बेटा. This ordinary we write because do you know one thing? Do you know one thing, beta? We can also revoke. Revoke means we can cancel the will prepared. For example, beta, one day I prepared a will. Let's say today is 25 September 2021. On this day, I prepared a will on behalf of, let's say, in favor of my son. On, let's say, 26/9/2021, I had a fight with my son. That's why I want to revoke this will. What would you say? Whether I can do this, yes or no? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Will can be revoked. That is why, beta, I always will write. So this is my last will. But yes, you can revoke this will, no problem as such, beta. Thereafter, beta, I hereby revoke all wills. Yeah, testamentary deposition. Deposition means transfer, which I may have herein before made. It means, beta, you can revoke all the previous transfers you made. Thereafter, beta, this line is most important. I bequeath on my death. On my death is important. I have seen one will wherein this word is not present. Unfortunately, this word was not present in one will. But that is not the will, because in every will, the will be effective after the date of your death. So you have to write this also. All the transfer, etc., 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 and etc., and etc. After my death, this is important. Thereafter, I am just writing all the properties that will be transferred after my death. So this is important. I further state that my wife, this is appointed as the executrix, you can say executor of this will. So sir, it means there is an executor. And yes, if there is an executor, which documents we will obtain? Probate or letter of administration? Yes or no, beta? Will obtain probate. But sir, I have a question. Is it mandatory? Is it mandatory to name the name of the executor in the will? The answer is no.
No.
You may write the name of the executor or you may escape the name of the executor. Doesn't matter at all. Thereafter, sir, the witness is required. कोई तो witness करेगा ही करेगा, sir. Codicil क्या होता है? I will let you know in a short while. But this is the concept of beta will. Any doubt to anyone in this case? For example, I am transferring जो भी मेरा bank account है, all my bank account, I am transferring this after my death. All my receivables will also be transferred to etc etc etc. Any doubt to anyone in this will, beta? Chinmay, any doubt? No. And this is again most important, self-accusation.
No.
I can only back with the property which I have acquired through my hard work. I cannot transfer the property of my ancestor, let's say for example of my father, joint holding property. No, I cannot transfer this because this is not my property. I can only transfer the self-acquired property. So sir, whether I can transfer my degree to my son? Sir, from now onward you are the company secretary, you are the advocate. The answer is no.
No. No.
Although this is my self-acquired property, but I cannot transfer because Ashna is smiling. No, I cannot transfer, but this is my self-acquired property. Unfortunately, I cannot transfer because this is the personal property. So, beta, you have to understand you cannot transfer your degrees to your son, etc. etc. Otherwise, मेरे बच्चे भी कल advocate या compliance officer बन जाएंगे. Okay, so what is this codicil? Anyone? What is this codicil? Yes, Prabhat beta, आवाज नहीं आ रही आज आपकी?
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी.
I am present. Sir, I have a doubt in will that
Yes.
yes, sir. Like जैसे जो रिलेशनशिप होते हैं, जैसे डॉक्टर एंड पेशेंट का रिलेशनशिप है, एंड सर्वेंट एंड एजेंट का, सर्वेंट एंड मालिक का रिलेशनशिप है. सर, ऑप्शन होता है कि जैसे अगर किसी पेशेंट ने, कोई पेशेंट है अबव 60, उसने अपनी विल किसी डॉक्टर के फेवर में कर दी, तो जो फैमिली है वो अक्सर ये ब्लेम करती है कि देयर इज एलिमेंट ऑफ अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस. तो सर, उस चीज से बचने के लिए क्या विल को रजिस्टर्ड कराना सेफ रहता है या ऐसे भी काम चल जाता है? उसके लिए क्या मतलब कुछ हो सकता है?
काम तो बेटा दोनों तरीके से चल जाता है, दोनों ही तरीके से. अब मैं आपको ऑन रिकॉर्ड बता नहीं सकता. मैंने तो अभी रिसेंटली एक ऐसा भी केस किया है जहां पर कुछ टेढ़ा मेढ़ा था, बट वी अगेन वॉन दिस केस. मैं आपको कॉल पे बताऊंगा. ओके, काम दोनों में चल जाता है. Whether your will is registered, whether your will is not registered, doesn't matter
Okay.
at all.
Okay, sir.
Probate is required. Probate is required.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is procedural thing, na?
That is a procedure.
That is
Right.
yes, sir.
So you want to say, sir, whether we can take the precautions, whether we can take any precautions? Yes.
Yes, sir.
The thing is that you may get your will registered, but still रजिस्ट्री भी बेटा गलत तरीके से होती है. आपको पता है? आप मुझे बताओ, मैं आपकी विल रजिस्टर कराता हूं. तो again, we have to probate. After the probation, your will is okay. But for example, if you get your will registered, that does not mean that your will is valid. Otherwise, कोई केस ही नहीं होगा बेटा. सोच के देखो, अगर एसडीएम लोग अपना काम अच्छे से करने लगे तो कोई केस ही नहीं होगा.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got, आपने कोई वर्ड सुना है, कलंद्रा? Maybe some of you must have heard the word कलंद्रा. How many of you? Pritika, Prabhat, you are also practicing. Sudhanshu, you are also practicing law. Kalandra, Archana, Pritika. Yes, no one.
No, sir.
नहीं किसी ने सुना कलंदरा कट गया. Okay. So
Sir,
कलंदरा.
is it about creating nuisance? For creating nuisance, the police used to file. I'm not very sure, sir. It may be wrong
Very
also.
nice, Aditya. Very so proud of you, beta. So proud of you. So proud of you. Yes. Kalandra katna means
Thanks.
property pe tala lag gaya. So this is the power of the SGM. Whenever some nuisance happen, the SGM can, you can say, use the power under section 145 of the which one CRPC, and he can make the Kalandra. आज मेरी मीटिंग थी SGM से बेटा, very known SGM, एंड उसको मैंने समझाया है आज लिटरली कानून जैसे पढ़ाते हैं ना. We just taught the कानून to him कि सर कलंदरा में सिर्फ आपकी पावर पोजेशन को काउंट करना होती है, टाइटल इज आउट ऑफ स्कोप. ये ऑल दिस थिंग्स एसजीएम लोग काम होता है, कुछ अच्छे करते हैं कुछ नहीं करते. बट बेटा प्रभात, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, दिस इज इंडिया. दिस इज इंडिया. एवरीथिंग हैपेंस. अदरवाइज अगर सारी चीजें ठीक होने लगे ना तो कोई केस ही ना हो. But yes, if for example I am 80 years of age and I want to make a will in the favor of my doctor, the thing is that beta, for precautions I will get this document registered. I will get this will registered, but that will not make your will valid. Challenge, anyone can challenge this will also. If your will is registered, again anyone can challenge. Anyone can challenge. That does not mean that if you make your will registered, no one can challenge now. No, that's not the case. Got the point, Prabhat?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt to anyone now?
Sir, so probate करने के बाद your will cannot be challenged, no? मतलब since it is under the seal of the court, तो उसके बाद you cannot challenge, no?
Court को challenge कर रहे हो आप, हैं? Court will give the time to every person that whosoever are interested, they are very much allowed to challenge. Court will give the time in the process of probate itself. Okay.
Probate is mandatory only in few cities, na?
Probate is mandatory in
Few cities, na? As Mumbai, Chennai.
Mumbai,
And-
Chennai, Maharashtra, Delhi. Yes. As
हाँ,
per my opinion, in 90% cases, the probate is mandatory.
okay.
I
तो
will have to see
executor
the-
named है तो probate is mandatory वैसे.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, Chinmay, you are allowed to unmute.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just wanted to ask that is it possible to like amend or make the will orally? For instance, if I've made a will and I want to like revoke it or change it or make some changes in it, and but
beta.
before that only I die.
Very nice, very nice. You can amend your will, no problem as such. You can revoke your will also, no problem as such. Whenever you amend your will, there is a document that is known as codicil. This document will be prepared and this will be attached. This will be attached after your will. So whenever we want to amend the will, a codicil will be prepared and this codicil will be annexed after this will. So whether the will prepared can be revoked, the answer is again yes. A new will can be prepared in this case. You got the point, Chinmay? Let me show you this.
Yes, sir.
For example, beta, in this case, yes, beta. In this case, let's say, beta, we have appointed Mr. Gopal as the executor. But before my death, Gopal dies. So I have to appoint a new executor. But sir, in the original will, I have named Mr. Gopal. Yes, beta, I have to amend the name of the executor. In that case, I have to write another document and the name of the document is codicil. This will be annexed after the will. Yes, beta, you got the point, Chinmay?
Yes, sir. Sir, I also wanted to ask that suppose like I want to amend the will and like I have the intention of amending the will, but like I've orally done it, like I've communicated it, but before that only I died. Like after communicating I died, but I've not, like it's not been jotted down. So it's just orally. So will
No
it
relevance
be
in the
valid?
no relevance in the court. Unfortunately,
Okay.
no relevance. For example, I say, hey son, I am revoking all the will that I have made, and I am giving in favor of, let's say, my daughter. Daughter will say, sir, dekho, daughter will go to the court and say, no, sir, Papa has made a will in my favor. Court will say, kahan hai beta? Where is the will? So will has to be in a writing. Yes or no?
Yes.
Otherwise, judge will, ऐसे तो काफी cases होने लग जाएंगे. मैंने सुना था मेरे पड़ोसी से, he said all the property will be transferred to me. Alia Bhatt said all the property will be transferred to Pratik. This is not possible. Yes or no, Chinmay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will also say Chinmay said all the property will be transferred to sir. This is not possible. Okay, any doubt to you, beta now?
Yes, sir. No,
Yes,
sir.
Rachna?
Thank you.
You wanna say something?
Sure. Like in the previous example, like you said, matlab the executor was appointed, but he died before the testator. And before amendment, if that person also dies, then
Before amendment, if that person's also, oh, very nice question. Letter of administration, don't you think?
yes, because the executor won't be there. So
Correct.
letter of administration.
Letter of
Okay.
administration.
And
Very nice.
sir, one more doubt. Suppose the will is executed in Mumbai and the property is in Delhi, then which court will have jurisdiction?
Where the property is situated.
Okay.
All the civil cases you have to learn, beta. Civil procedure code kya kehta hai? Wherever the property is situated, that will be the jurisdiction.
Okay. Okay.
Very nice, Archana. I am so proud you are asking some good questions. ऐसे अगर क्वेश्चंस पूछोगे ना तो आपका माइंड वेल ब्रॉड कि क्या क्या इंटरव्यू में भी क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हैं. सो प्राउड ऑफ.
Yes, sir.
Any other question to anyone? So we can move further. No questions, sir. Yes, Prabhat. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Understood. So, sir, this is a small concept of will codicil, and one person also said, sir, whether we have to get it signed through by some witness. The answer is C. I will sign this here. This is Pratik. And yes, witness are required. Witness are required. Two witnesses are required. So, for example, if I am making a will in favor of my son, whether my son can also be a witness? Yes or no, beta? कैसी बात करते हो sir?
No, sir.
My son
No,
cannot
sir.
be a witness. He is a beneficiary. So I need some another two person who will say, sir, I have witnessed and read the aforesaid will. मैंने तो एक recently case ये भी देखा है बेटा. इन witness को भी हमने कोर्ट में बुला लिया था एक केस में. तो आजा बेटा तू बता, झूठ बोलते हैं, झूठी गवाही देता है, उन्हीं को ही अंदर करवाएंगे फिर हम. That is also a case practically happens in the real life scenario. प्रॉपर्टी के पीछे बहुत डिस्प्यूट होते हैं, बहुत डिस्प्यूट होते हैं. प्रॉपर्टी किसको प्यारी नहीं लगती. Understood, sir. So this is a small concept of beta. This. I am not going in the detail of Islamic will. I request everyone to please read this. This is simple, no problem as such, because the Islamic will is governed by the Muslim laws. You just have to read one, but I will give you the whole document so that you can read this document for your kind perusal. Okay, so this concept I hope is clear to everyone, the concept of will. In the tomorrow's class, beta, we will understand the concept of what was that? Just a second. Let me check this. Chinmay, yes. Just a second, beta. Let me check this. Yes, beta. Here it is. So as of now, I don't have the brochure as of now. We have did this, the will concept as of now. Now in the tomorrow's class, we will understand the trust deed. Important hai, most important hai. We have understood agency, MOU, NDU. Even no, we have not discussed this. Employment and consultancy, we did this. Franchisee, we did. In the tomorrow's class, we will understand the concept of power of attorney as well as the trust deed. Most important, power of attorney is very important. So I request everyone to stay in the tomorrow's class. This is most important class. Furthermore, beta, if you want to join the live classes, for example, you want to revise some part, this part, for an example, let's say this one part. If you want to revise this one part also, a second batch is going on, you may join the live classes also, no problem as such. Just let me know, sir, you want to join. I will share the link with you also. As of now, we have covered, no, today is the second class of the contract drafting second batch. If you join the live classes also, no problem as such. You may revise the concept again. Doesn't matter. But I want that whenever you sit for an interview, you should be very much capable to answer every question in detail. Interviewer भी सोचे कि सर मजा आ गया, assignment, probate, etc., etc., etc. This thing will should be happening in your interview. Otherwise, मजा नहीं आएगा. Ashna, how was your interview, beta? कैसा था?
So it was good. I was able to answer pretty much everything.
So
And मतलब वो एक point of time के बाद discussion जैसा ही हो गया था.
discussion
So
में ही तो
it-
मजा है.
Yeah, because actually the interviewer na matlab he just ऐसे situational kinds भी पूछे, so it became too much of opinion based, so it became interesting, like he had one view, I had another view, and then later on उसने agree किया ऐसे सब, so it was good that way, but
Very nice.
उसके बाद that's what he said, उसने भी मतलब बोला that you did pretty well, but I will need a week's time to complete my assessment, and then we'll get back to you करके.
Very nice.
So I think they might schedule a second round also.
बहुत बढ़िया. पार्टी बनेगी बेटा फिर अगर ज्वाइन हो गया.
I hope, I really hope, because वो pure contract based profile ही है, तो
Very
it's
nice.
really interesting.
Very nice. Pritika is saying, sir, have we discussed joint development agreement? No, beta, we have not. We will deal this. We have did corporate lease, leave license. We have to understand this. This we have to understand. Sir, when we will start with internet and technology contract, beta, after all these things, the remaining things, we will jump into this internet and technology contracts. Okay, may I know your name? आपने पता नहीं कैसा name लिखा हुआ है. Pratika. Okay, Pratika. Okay, after completing all this thing, we will jump into the internet as the software agreements. Okay, but in the tomorrow's class, we will understand two things: power of attorney as well as the trust deed. Yes, Aditya, you are very much allowed to ask if you need some help.
Sir, I will just text you, sir, after the class, sir.
After the class, okay, Veda, you may reach. Okay. Thank you so
Okay,
much
sir.
to everyone. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. If you still have the doubt, you're very much allowed to reach me. No problem as such. I'm just sharing a Word document of the will with everyone in the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe. Aditya, you may reach me now. Thank you.
Okay, sir.